Hello and welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is someone who put together a list of 7,000 moments and had to narrow it down to 5. It's Nandi Boetas.
This has been the most stressful time in my life.
What did we do? What did I do?
Why? It's so much easier just to come up with your 5 favorite movies of the 21st century than 5 favorite moments, because you're talking about like a gazillion. I mean, why? Whose idea was this? I can't even remember.
Mine.
I blame you.
Because, you know me, I get impulsive and I send you ideas and then you're like, yeah! And then we both go, oh no. Oh no.
True.
Now, there's some positives and negatives to this. We're doing our 5 favorite moments from 21st century horror. Holy mackerel. The good news is that there's thousands of moments. So by us picking 5, we are going to miss literally thousands of moments. Thousands. This isn't like we're putting together a list of the 1,000 greatest 21st century horror movie moments. Because then we would still miss moments and people would complain at us. We're just picking 5. So, I mean, if our 5...
Our favorites.
Yeah, our favorites, not even the best.
Not the greatest.
Yeah.
Favorites.
And so, like, subjectively, objectively, statistically, our lists are not going to match up with whoever's listening's list. And if they do...
Don't yell at us.
Yeah, if one of our moments actually lands on your top 5 after you think about it, that's a statistical anomaly. So,
exactly.
I just want everyone out there to know, as, you know, my math brain, we're going to miss a lot of moments, y'all. I tried putting together an honorable mention list, and I filled up my entire Google Doc, my entire Google Drive space.
Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it.
But I'm very happy with my top 5. I really am. I'm confident of it. I like it. I'm proud of it. And I think we're going to have a good time today talking about these.
I think we've got a good variety. I think also, just for the record, I mean, your top 5 and my top 5 is pretty much, in a lot of ways, like our top 10 because we like both of each other's lists anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, there were literally movies that like I didn't pick because you did already, so why talk about it twice? I mean, you know, like, so yeah, I guess if people want to like yell at why isn't this on the list, like rather yell, hey, mine made the list, that would make way more sense, because I mean, there are a lot of great movies and movie moments, so to cover them all would be ridiculous.
Like we're like filling a shot glass. Mark. We're filling a shot glass in an Olympic-sized pool. We're gonna miss some water. Yes. Like we're not, you know what I mean?
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
We're not making a dent.
You can't please everyone.
Yeah.
And also, this is our personal opinion. These are like the moments that we tend to keep going back to, that we like. We didn't even have to watch these like online. Like I wanted to watch that one just because I wanted to watch the whole movie today and I couldn't because our stupid subscription had to be renewed. But we didn't even have to watch these because it's so ingrained into our brains and our memories, and that's kind of the reason why they're our favorites, also of how they make us feel. But yeah, I mean, personal opinion. So
absolutely. It's crazy. It's bonkers. This was a lot of work. And I have lists from other MFF contributors too to read out during the episode to kind of mix it up. But do you mind if I get us started to kind of... Okay, so this was tough. I actually ranked my top 5, which is insanity, because that was just as hard as finding 5 out of the 1,000s of these. But it doesn't mean I like them. I picked these over thousands of moments, so I love them.
Why do you hate yourself?
Yeah,
why?
I need to go to I need to go to therapy after this episode.
Torture.
I really do.
You jigsaw yourself, honestly.
I jigsaw. Mark Hoffmeyer. Wait, yeah. If I was John Kramer, I would John Kramer myself.
I want to play a game.
Is he talking to himself? All right. So my number 5 is okay. I just want everyone to know my number 3 through 5 could be interchangeable. Like one could be 4, one could be 3. Any different days of the week they could change. So letting everybody know that. But my number 5 today is from the 2017 film Revenge, which, you know, tells the story of Jennifer. She is the mistress of this really rich dude. She goes on a hunting trip with him. She is raped by a man named Vincent. They, instead of, you know, calling the police and having Vincent arrested, they push her off a cliff and she lands on a plant and gets impaled. She rises up like a phoenix, burns the bush, which I love, the burning bush, burns the bush, goes out, kills a guy, after being impaled. And then she goes into a cave with a gun, some gunpowder, some American beer. I love how the can says American beer. Some American beer, and she has a gigantic wound in her stomach. And she proceeds to, okay, she cuts up the beer can. She lights a blade with a lighter, and a great close-ups, by the way, in a cave. She's still wearing her star pink earrings, by the way, which I absolutely love.
Those earrings. Oh my gosh.
A synth score is kicking in. She slices her skin. She pulls
She's
out.
She's tripping on narcotics. She's tripping on narcotics. She took the narcotics. Yeah.
She's on a spirit quest. Spirit quest. Slices her skin, pulls out a branch. Blood squishes out. You hear like spewing. She cuts open the beer can, and there's a phoenix on it. She puts it in the fire. She gets it super hot, and then she places it on her stomach to cauterize her massive impalement. The product of that is that she gets a beer can phoenix cauterized, imprinted on her stomach. And it's such a, you know what I love is the director, Coralie Fargeau, I might be butchering the name, but she says what she was influenced by was Mad Max. And she also loved Mad Max Fury Road, and because the desert becomes a character itself. But she goes, I remember when I watched Kill Bill at some point, she takes 3 shotgun bullets in the chest and a second after she gets up. I love that. I love that sense of this is my character, this is my world, I can set the rules that I want. I knew the story wasn't super original, as this has been told many times in many different ways, but I wanted to tell it in a way that would resonate different and give it its own personality. Now, I like that she was being completely burned, and this gave him his strength, the Phoenix. When a Phoenix is born again, nothing can stop it. It's almost like a superpower. And I like this mythology to guide Jen, and to be able to lead her through territories that were totally unknown to her. I like the simple idea that the symbol basically comes from a beer can. It's something very basic, but that's something that you can't do in another type of genre film. You can twist and go very far in turning things upside down, and I like to have fun with that. I think this is the tone of the movie that's very serious with her and what she goes through, but always keeping an entertaining distance that allows you to go through the movie without suffering too much. And watching her burn that phoenix, it's not subtle, it's very literal, but I love the moment in Darjeeling Limited when they throw their baggage away. They're getting rid of their baggage as they trace the train. And it's so, this moment where she puts a beer can phoenix and she goes on the hunt for the 2 men who killed her and attacked her. But it's so, like, I remember watching this and going, that's a beer can. She's taking a beer can, cauterizing her wound, and that phoenix is now on her stomach, and she's risen like a phoenix. And like her blonde highlights are dirty. Her hair's gotten darker, right? Like her hair's darker. She's like stripped down. Matilda Lutz is gonna be next Red Sonja, by the way, because she's awesome. And it's just
she looks like Lara Croft in this.
Yeah,
she's great.
And
she's great.
It's nice that, I'm not gonna say it's nice, but it's nice that this is a rape revenge film directed by a woman, directed and written by a woman, because you don't normally get that gaze. And it does really flip the male gaze on its head. We're not normally talking about that here, but you get these characters who, you know, they have to rise up after the attack. But I just love how literal this is. She burns a beer can phoenix on her chest, and it's just wonderful. And so that's my first pick.
I think for me, what I love about this movie, like, it is such a great take on the whole, like, revenge thriller and, like, specifically rape revenge thriller, because, like, it becomes a survival horror during the second act. You've got Jane, first she needs to free herself from, like, the bush branch thing that has impaled her by using a lighter to burn it down. Like, I loved how, they came up with such simple ways for her to, like, you know, get on with it and escape. Because, at first, like, it's survival, so she's escaping, because then she's crawling away with this branch still in her stomach. Then she needs to hold her breath underwater in the lake, and she eventually kills the one guy in self-defense. Then she goes and, go on that trippy Phoenix beer can, like, thing that happens. And, like you say, she rises, out of that and, like, okay, I'm not running away anymore. I'm ready to take these asses down. Like, it's such a good take on it. I love the feel of this movie. I think it's very underrated. I don't think a lot of people actually know about it. I hope more people watch it. Go watch Revenge, you guys. Revenge 2017. Really, really good. I also love the sequence where she hunts down Stan in his car.
Yeah.
That's probably my favorite sequence. Like, I was like, that was such a nail biter for me. And seeing her, I also love how they show, this is the first time she's used, like, what do you call those guns? Like,
A rifle.
it's a something scope,
Yeah.
something rifle. Oh gosh. She doesn't, it's her first time.
It's ugly.
So it shows the ugly, it shows the kickback, it shows the not so accurate. And then those two, like, kind of, at first she's hunting him and then he's hunting her. And that was very satisfying to watch. Like, yeah. And also great earrings. Best earrings in a horror movie. Love it.
I promote this movie. I won my cousin and I, we bet on MMA fights, and there was a rematch, and a guy won, and I think Donnie. Wait, no, my cousin got it right, so I had to send him a movie. So we send themed movies based on bets. So if I lose a bet, I send a Blu-ray that represents the win or the actor or where he's from. So since the guy got Revenge, I sent him Revenge on Blu-ray, and he adored it. I talked about it on our Neon episode that I just adore Revenge, and just watching her journey, and then like it's very French. So at the end, which like you've written about,
rough.
There's a lot of blood, and there's a lot of nudity, and there's a lot of all types of nudity flying around, and so it's not a movie you watch with the family, but I think it's like sun-soaked, sun-drenched. Matilda Lutz is excellent. Like, give her the Oscar over Leo.
Cinematography is beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Like, yeah.
It's so good. And there's a beer can phoenix. I love literal. I really do. I love it. I think some people are like,
it works.
Yeah. I need an allegory. I need a metaphor. No! Throw your luggage away. You have baggage. Drop your baggage. Right? Like, it's,
there we go.
Boom. Simple.
Exactly.
So that's my first one.
I think that's the thing. I think the movie, like, does actually, sorry, I just want to say, like, it works because the cinematography and the coloring and the choices there is enough to make it not just this very simple, literal movie. Like, there's enough to still make it rich and still, like, not dumbing it down, if you want to like say that. And then the acting and directing also helped with that. It's just brilliant.
And
anyway,
and the way she's framed at first, Coralie frames her as just almost a goddess who's being worshipped by these men. And then when she doesn't go for their advances, they just toss her aside. Like, it's very but like they don't.
No, it's rough.
Yeah, it's rough. But it's.
I mean, the first act is hard to watch.
Yeah, but like they don't really focus on unlike maybe I Spit on Your Grave or movies like that. They don't. It's not right. I'm not condoning anything, but you could tell a woman directed it because it's not solely focused on that. And it's. But there's a beer can phoenix, so that's my number one.
I love it. Okay, I'm not gonna like rank mine. I'm gonna be chaos because that's just me. So I'm just gonna like pick one. Let's go with the projector scene from It. I love that scene. I think for me, I just think because like we watch so many horror movies and stuff, at one point it starts to like take a lot to frighten you in a scary movie. Like you're used to jump scares, you're used to like the camera work that a lot of people do. When I watched Barbarian for the first time, like a week or so ago, which I love, like I realized it's been a while since I've been that scared. That first scene was like torture. But when I first like saw the projector scene in It, like that both, I was really scared of because I knew, oh gosh, like something's gonna happen now, but you don't know why. But at the same time, it had me completely giddy. That's why it's one of my favorite moments because I just love this scene. It's so deliciously done. Like the slow build up, the raising of the tempo, and that whole claustrophobic effect in the garage. Those guards menacing It face. It's just all very, very good. Like, and then he leaps out. That's probably one of my favorite jump scares too, because I'm not really that much into jump scares, but that was a good one. I love that you've got the kids saying, fuck. It's so real. It's so the fear. And I love this scene.
He's so big when he goes for that jump scare too. And also, I love that you said the word delicious because there's almost a sense of glee to this scary scene. And watching the jerk It zoom in on Georgie and then go to the mom and then go to his face.
Ruthless.
And the casting of these kids in this movie was just so ridiculously good. I mean, what a home run of casting. Like hire that casting agent. I wonder if that casting agent did Black Phone. And so, just wonderful little actors, and just, they changed it up from the book. In the book, they were looking through a photo album. And so having them go to this.
Which was also a creepy scene.
Yeah.
Like,
and also, like,
sticks with you.
It's number one on Collider, this scene. Like, they did scariest moments of Stephen King movies. Like, this is a.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. It's a good one.
I'm very happy that you picked this one because it's a nice synthesis. Like, I picked a French film that is wildly underseen, and you picked a blockbuster that was a blockbuster for a reason. A very good movie that with legitimate scares. And
absolutely.
This projector scene, it's just, I love that word delicious. It's delicious. It's just
delicious.
It's just fun. And then when I like the jump, he's so big when he jumps out, and just all the kids.
So huge. Dude, if we were kids and we watched this, like we watched it, the movie series thing, like when we were young, and like, yeah, that was creepy and whatever, but imagine like we watched this scene when we were like 5 or 7. I mean, we were like, that it would have completely freaked me out. I think it's just so good.
Yeah,
I love it.
I also found something fun. They said it might be a direct homage to another Stephen King in 1990, his novella The Sundog. The book features a scene in which a big dog jumps out of a projector, and during the scene, Pennywise jumps out of the projector and he starts barking at one point. So I wonder if it's like
he kind of crawls like a dog too.
Yeah.
Because like he jumps out and then he's out in the next shot, and he's like crawling to them like a poodle. A giant clown, like with teeth poodle, but
oh, it's so good. Oh yeah.
I love that.
I'm glad you picked it because you're right. I wish I had more words, but I feel like delicious sums it up.
Yeah, it's deliciously done. What's your second one?
Oh, jeez Louise. Cheese and crackers. Okay, Green Room. I'm gonna go Green Room. 2015.
Oh,
it's a. We talked about it. Zach Beckler and I did the best horror of the 2010s, and we actually said Green Room was number one. I've put Green Room as number one multiple times. I think A24 just did a horror marathon. You could rent it for $10, and they had Green Room in it, which made me happy. They didn't have Black Ghost Daughter, which is a bummer, but they had Green Room. And when I watched Green Room, just I worked in a bar that had a lot of hardcore bands, so I felt like I knew these kids immediately. And then watching them on their bikes, watching them siphon gas, watching them go through the cornfield, just watching them play Nazi punks. We're PG-13 and we have Nazi punks fuck off in front of a bunch of Nazis. Yep. And the situation that they're pulled into, it's not their fault. This is not something you anticipate. And when the violence it hits hard and it hits real. And one of the big selling points of this movie is Patrick Stewart Darcy. He's a nightmare, fuel machine, evil man who is corrupt, takes advantage of young kids, drug dealing, horrifying man, murder. And he sends the band, the Ain't Rights, get stuck in a green room. They have to fight off these Nazis, and it just gets ugly and violent and mean. The violence is gross, but it all builds at the end to this scene that has really just lingered in my memory. And it's when the two survivors, Pat and Amber, they reunited from Fright Night, the remake. And I love Anton Yelchin's unbelievable. Imogen Poots is like one of my favorites. And they're like, you know what, we're gonna go crazy and we're gonna go on the attack, and they end up getting the upper hand on Darcy. And they get out of the green room, they get to his compound, and they find them setting up a crime scene to make it seem like they were trespassing and they got killed. But what happens is, Amber has gone there to murder. And in the words of the director, Jeremy Saulnier, she's gone full feral Mondo badass, which I love. And she takes the lead. Anton Yelchin's Pat, he's not there to kill. He's not carrying it. Amber's carrying it. And the following action, as Jeremy Saulnier says, ill-timed and brutal and sad. And what happens is Patrick Stewart kind of makes this stupid comment about, us too, like that was terrible for us too. And Anton Yelchin looks at him and he just says, like, you were so much, it's funny. It's funny. You were so scary at night. And he sees this man for who he is, this old man on a farm, just sad, old, sad. It doesn't matter. He could be young and sad. You know what I mean? He just realizes that this guy is not scary. He just took advantage of these kids, and he was the boogeyman. He was a nightmare. But then he sees him in the daylight. Amber leaves a new crime scene, and watching him die, just watching him get shot in the back and then shot in the head, but just that line, it's funny. You were so scary at night, and I almost consider the following scene where this whole movie. I love how the dog goes by too. The dog's not evil. The dog was trained to attack too. What I love, but at the end, Pat wants to tell Imogen Poots his Desert Island Band, which has been a theme throughout the entire movie. Three different scenes. And she's like, no one gives a shit. Like, and then to cut the credits. It makes me so happy. But
whatever.
Yeah, but I think it's funny. You were so scary at night, and watching Anton Yelchin's performance, the way he just melts.
Yeah, dude.
I don't know. I think it sums up a lot of predators. I think it sums up a lot of people who are in power, that they're not scary, but when they're at their core, they're just sad human beings. And then the following violence is so ugly. And Imogen Poots is so awesome. I just love Green Room, and I had to add it. So this is my moment.
No, it's a great one. I mean, it's one of my favorites too. It's definitely like on my top 10 list. I just love like he says the line, yeah, you're so scary at night. But he doesn't say it aggressively. It's really just like it's only occurring to him now. And immediately, because like what that shows is they're not scared of this guy anymore. And what does like Patrick Stewart's Darcy do? He realizes, oh shit. And he turns around and starts running because like the tables have completely turned now. Because that's the thing. They feed on the fear. That's what gives them power. So the moment like these kids are like, yeah, we're not afraid of you anymore. This is done now. Like this is over. Yeah. Like, and that's how they get him. And like, shot in the back because he runs away from the carnage and like torture that he put upon these kids. Green Room is amazing. Like, yeah, we're going to do an entire episode on the soundtrack also, and then we can like talk about the movie again.
Yeah.
Because we can do 100 episodes of Green Room.
Why
not? Why the F not?
Right?
Chaos.
Yes. And you know, that's
anarchy.
I love where Amber just shoots Clark too, the dog trainer. She just shoots him. She doesn't care. And I think at that moment, her hunched over, like she's not holding the shotgun correctly, but she's holding it to murder. And just, it's so ugly and fast. And it's really her intent.
It happens fast. Yeah.
And she, you know what I love is like, she's like, we're going to do this. We're going to make a new crime. She's there to kill. And I think when she kills Clark, everyone there just goes, yeah, we're dead. But it's just such a good, but
it's over.
It's funny. You were so scary at night, and it's said earnestly without malice. That's perfect how you said that. It's dawn, and he has a dawning realization that this guy is just a guy. And
exactly.
I think that sums up a lot of violence in people who lead groups. And it's like you know, the Cowcatcher says to them, like, it hits hard. The lead singer of Cowcatcher is like, it hit hard. So it hits hard. And I love it. So that's my number 2.
It's great. Good one. Okay, let's go with more like Ray tells her story in Us.
Oh,
I love this scene. I mean, it's just, to me, it's so mesmerizing. Like, Lupita Nyong'o is just so good here. I mean, she just, I want to see her in absolutely everything. There's a lot of moments that I love in Us. Us is one of those movies where the first time I watched it, I mean, we all came off from Get Out, and Get Out being amazing. And, but it was like, I think a more simple take on things. Like, Us was filled with all the symbolism and so many things going on. And, I think the first time I watched it, I can only talk for myself, it was like overwhelming. Like, okay, this was cool. Like, I liked it, but I had to think about it. And then I realized, no, you don't think about it, you just watch it again, because the thing is that there's so much going on. And I like, the more I watch it, the more I love this movie. It's really great. I mean, I was kind of contemplating which moment do I actually love the most? This one or the Ophelia Call the Police one? Because that is a fantastic moment. But I ultimately went for this one just because of Lupita's amazing acting. Like, I'm always talking about, like, just how good she was in this movie, and how she totally, like, a lot of the actors on our list today could have totally been nominated for awards. Not that awards suck, but, you know, like, they're just that good, and we just like, yeah, want to give them the recognition for it
Yeah.
because she's just amazing in this.
Like, how do you watch this and not think that this isn't awards worthy? That's the question. It's a horror
Right?
movie, sure, and I feel so bad for Adelaide/Red because she got it dirty. Just
You know,
gets choked,
exactly.
gets her windpipe messed up, and has to live with the tethered who can't speak and eat rabbits, and just getting tethered to this man, having a daughter who just laughs, have a pyromaniac son. This is, but it's also interesting that a tethered person became a fully functional adult too, a random adult. But like, once you learn that and watch this again, you feel more for Red. Red has lost the plot.
Yeah.
Red's gone, right? Red is gone. Red is not a hero.
Yeah.
I don't want people saying that, oh yeah, Red's the hero. No, Red has lost her mind. Red justifiably has lost her mind. But you do sympathize, which I think is what a good horror film does. And just listening to her story about eating rabbits and it's bloody, and she received gifts that sliced her fingers when she tried to play with them, and she got stuck with Abraham. And I like when Abraham puts the glasses on, by the way. He's like, ooh, the tethered Abraham.
Yeah.
Like, ooh, but it's just watching her play that scene and just watching her. Yeah, it's just good, and it's new, and it's refreshing.
And her telling that story, that monologue is great. I mean, like I say, every time it's just mesmerizing to me. Every time it's like I'm hearing it for the first time. That's just how good she is and how good that scene is. Yeah, and it is like you do feel for her. Like when at the end you realize, yeah, just before she got lost in that little weird mirror funhouse place, you know, the last commercial she saw on TV was the America Holding Hands thing. And that stuck with her, and that became like her plan. That's what she was going to do. Like she was going to rise up and do that because she was still stuck in that mindset. Like that's why she's also like, yeah, you know, it's God's vision, and like she got stuck in this very like narrow-minded way of thinking where like the world doesn't really work like that. But because of that simple-mindedness, she was able to destroy and murder, and it's such an interesting movie. Like, yeah, I love Us. I do. I think it got a lot of flack when it came out. I understand why. I think people were like, oh, too much. But gosh, it's a good one, man.
Just logistically, it's tough, though, because of the bunnies and the waste disposal and the clothes. Like, how do you ship all this? Like, how do you get billions of this? And like, there's a whole nother civilization worth of waste. Like, that's the tough part. But what I love is the core.
Underground, man. Underground.
The core.
Things can live underground.
Hollow Earth.
Things do live underground.
It's crawlers from The Descent, which I didn't add on my top 5, which is insane. We'll talk about that later. But but like just what I love too is the other Adelaide knows what she did. And so she knows that this person that she swapped with has lived a life of horrifying things. And you're going, uh-oh. This is on me.
Exactly. I love how everyone's like her husband, he's like, okay, I'll give you whatever. I'll give you the boat. And the daughter's like, no one wants the boat. No one cares about the boat. And like Adelaide's just like, dude, shush, stop talking. Like, because she knows. Whoops-a-daisy. Jig is up.
They don't want the boat.
I love it.
Oh, I love it.
Nobody cares about the boat, Dad.
Oh, man. And just watch Winston Duke get manhandled by his tethered. You're like, that's a big tethered. Manhandling Winston Duke. So I love him with the bat, too, with his Howard sweatshirt. And just, I love it.
Absolutely. It's good.
Before I jump to my third, I want to read a couple lists I got now, if you want to hear them.
Yeah, do it.
So Megan, she knew our list, so she gave us a different list. So she put The Descent, which she's the best for doing it. And she put The Bloodbath. Not the like when the the character is in the blood and she just has to sink into the blood. Beautiful. She did Jennifer's Body, the 8675309 song.
Cool.
That's a mean scene. That's a scary scene, and it's played perfectly by Adam Brody. He really sells that. It's really brutal. And she's screaming and they're laughing, and it's just so callous. Like I love how Diablo Cody wrote that. And then she put Insidious
Yeah.
2011, the lipstick demon jump scare with Patrick Wilson that made me
Nice.
scream. Then she put Werewolves Within, which when the tour of the town, she loves the tour of the town and Werewolves Within.
Yes. Yes.
And then last but not
Love it.
least, Megan's obsessed with the opening party scene in Ghost Ship. So she loves when that rope just like the cable obliterates all those people. It's gorgeous and it's funny and it's old school. It's very Dark Castle at the time. We talked about this, like 13 Ghosts, House on Haunted Hill, very camp, very fun. So yeah, she put that. That's her fifth. And then Joey Lewandowski, he put the Talking Hybrid Bear Annihilation. And then Would Thou Like to Live Deliciously in The Witch. He also put Using a Beer Can in a New Way in Revenge. Oh, and he put They Decide to Make a Run for It in You're Next. Woohoo! That's a great decapitation.
Oh yeah. Oh gosh, I love that scene. Oh, that's a great one. Yeah, that's also my top 10. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love
They're
it.
so entitled and stupid in that movie, and I love Aaron in that film. Then he put the ending of Raw, which is wonderful. Taking the elevator down in the cabin of the woods to see the monsters. The entire final act in Mother. The opening scene in It Follows, which is very De Palma, very synth heavy. I dig it. And then I'm Your God Now in Mandy. So between Megan and Joey, they put some of my favorite moments of 21st century horror in here.
Yes.
So I am very happy. Now, I know a lot of these are 2010s. And I understand that there was 28 Days Later. There's Pan's Labyrinth. There was some great horror in the early 2000s. I just want everyone to know that I know that, just to give everyone a heads up.
We know that, you guys.
Yes. So I'm going to take us back to 2006 with The Host, with Bong Joon-ho's The Host, which I saw in a theater in Tampa, and I had to drive 45 minutes to go watch it. And the reason I'm doing this is I've read an entire breakdown of the VFX. I love how clumsy the creature is in the beginning, and then it becomes more, what's the word? Athletic, more, has better balance towards the end. But it's just, Weta absolutely crushed. Well, Weta was supposed to do it, but then they got moved onto another one. So then another special effects house had to come in and finish it. But did you know that the creature, Bong and his team modeled Steve Buscemi's feral performance in Fargo after the creature? That's a fact. Which is absolutely insane. And
I did not think I could love this movie more.
I
love that.
And the entire budget of The Host was $15 million. Isn't it great?
I love it. I absolutely love it. Yeah, I honestly didn't think I could love this movie or this monster more. Now I absolutely. The thing about The Host is it could be on every list. I was thinking about it this afternoon. Like, best movies, best monster movies, best monster in a movie, best moment, best
family breakdown, best family breakdown scene,
conspiracy theory, best family. Every list will have The Host because this movie is just so great.
Best Molotov cocktail, best archery, best food shack, best height beer, best cast beer. And I lived in Korea between 2008 and 2009. And whenever I went into Seoul and I took either a bus or a train over the Han River, I really secretly hoped that the monster would come out. Of
course.
I looked for it. Hand
on
my heart.
Backflip from the bridge.
Yeah, I looked. I was like, come on, let's do it. Let's go. Monster.
Do a dive. Just one dive.
So I would just look for it. And this movie had a $15 million budget, and about $5 million was spent on the monster. And I think what people love so much about this opening attack is that it's so in the open. This is not Godzilla. This is not Jaws. This is not Alien. This monster is out and about very early in the daylight.
Yep.
Eating people, chaos. It is just a weird monster. It's a sneaky monster. It's almost a cheeky monster.
Yep.
And our Scott from The Host, he's responsible for it. Scott Wilson poured all the poison down the thing, which makes me laugh, and they caused it. And what's interesting?
Yeah.
So far, I guess I love moments that completely abandon metaphor or like allegory, because the monster's created because they just dump toxic waste in there. This isn't a metaphor for any, like, they're just like, this is what caused it. This went down the drain. This is it. And then it just attacks and kills people. And then I have Green Room. You were so much scarier at night. Like, says it to him. And then I have Revenge. Instead of like a phoenix metaphor, they burn a beer can phoenix on her chest. So I guess I like things that are very straightforward. And this is as straightforward as it gets. And when I was in 2006, maybe 2007, when I watched this in the theater, I knew nothing about it. And when this daytime attack happened, yeah, I was like, this is incredible. This is cool. And I had to have it at my list. So this was I had to have a French and a Korean horror film for my 21st century, because I mean,
I love that. Like that's needed.
Insane French horror,
So many good ones.
Martyrs, Frontiers, Inside, High Tension, and then you jump to Raw, Titan, Revenge.
Exactly.
Beautiful. But yeah, that's my number 3. And I found a huge article about it, and I just love it.
Yeah, I just want to also the opening scene, one of the moments that I love, because there's so much happening and you're just like watching all these people just running. And at one point, while like the monster's attacking now, it's on land and it's running and everyone's running and it's frantic. But there's this one shot where you see everyone running and this guy on the ground with a dog attacking his leg. Like, everyone's running from the monster, and there's just this one shot of a guy that's being attacked by a dog. It's a dog trying to tell him to get out, but it doesn't look like it. It looks like the dog is trying to eat his freaking leg. It's so hysterical. It's just this panic and chaos, and it's a blink and you'll miss it moment. But I just love it. Like, the guy that's getting attacked by a dog while this monster is attacking the entire promenade, or what, like, I don't know, what do you call that? Like, riverbank.
Park, or I don't know what it is.
Marketplace thing. I don't know, there's a lot of people there, but like, yeah.
And just the way
park next to a river.
The headphones, the I think probably American who's trying to fight, who gets eaten.
The Captain America. He's just like, I'm going to throw this piece of concrete hella far. Gosh, he's really strong. He's really like a Captain America.
And like the trailer scene, and I read it. David Ehrlich wrote about it, and what I like is he put a lack of subtlety isn't just one of the film's charms, it's one of the cores of the film's purpose. This is a story about the sheer brazenness of evil. It's a story about an evil that pours formaldehyde into the Han River with the snickering delight of a Bond villain. A story about an evil that hangs from the underside of the most prominent bridge in all Seoul before it decides to strike. And I just kind of like that. I like how there's no subtlety in this movie. It's there, and it tells you, and I love that about it.
And it's funny.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
most
fun.
important. Yeah.
Like, after this scene, it's like, I don't really know which scene is my favorite, this one or the one right after, where they're like grieving for the girl that's been taken. But the family goes into absolute hysterics. It is the best, funniest scene. Like, good luck with anyone trying to do a like comedy grieving scene ever again, because try to top that. It's amazing.
The
they
overhead
just like
shot
at the end roll around, crying on the floor, like all. Oh, it's so over the top. I love it. But that's the thing. It really went for the funny, and that's why it's such a good comedy horror. And I mean, you can't like go all deep and like allegory with comedy horror anyway. People are going to like eye roll at you.
Oh yeah.
They did a really good job.
I love it. And I'll read a couple things and then we'll jump into your third pick. How's that sound?
Okay, cool.
Aaron Neuwirth has the pool scene from The Strangers Prey at Night, which I adore. Total Eclipse of the Heart playing. I show it to my students and they're like, wow, this is amazing. Lisa Leahy, the bear scene Annihilation, the telephone pole in Hereditary. Hadley and Sitterson trolling Mordecai on the speakerphone in The Cabin in the Woods. The siren in any of the Purge movies. That's good. The flower tossed into the living room in Host, and Black Phillip speaks in The Witch. I'm not saying The Vitch. Those are the ones from Lisa Leahy. And you can listen to her on the Siblets podcast, and you can listen to Aaron Neuwirth on the Out Now with Aaron and A podcast, and you can listen to Joey Lewandowski on Too Fast, Too Forever, the Too Fast, Too Forever podcast, and 1999, the podcast. So that's where you can listen to them. So what's your third?
I love it. Everyone is like, yeah, just saying all the moments that we would love to also say.
Yeah.
So, good teamwork, everyone.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Take them for us.
So for us, yeah. Like, okay, next one. I'm gonna go with, let's talk about the Rose versus Dan scene in Doctor Sleep. Oh
Oof.
gosh. Basically, yeah, like the stage scene that was like recreated from The Shining and done so well. I mean, if you think about it, like it took, like it's no secret, like it took Stanley Kubrick 127 shots to get that stage scene right in The Shining, in his eyes to get it right. And like, I mean, I have no idea how many shots it took Mike Flanagan, but like, I'm positive that it was nearly as many as that. But it was so good. Oh gosh, like I just love. I love what Flanagan. I mean, we did an whole episode on this, but we also did an whole episode on Black Coats and like some of the others.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're always going to talk about our big loves, and yeah, Doctor Sleep is a big love for me. And I just love the scene.
Mm-hmm.
And to see Danny, like, or Dan, in the spot where his dad used to be. And Ewan McGregor just played the heck out of Dan. I really loved, like, the casting in this movie in general.
Rebecca Ferguson is perfection.
Perfection. She's just amazing. The way she walks, I just love that, like, insect type walk thing that she's got going. But yeah, the stairs scene just always, I just, that's an all moment for me. I think it's, what a good choice to recreate for Doctor Sleep.
The role reversal, just him, a guy with an axe moving backwards. That's
exactly.
That's something great. And I'm constantly amazed by Rebecca Ferguson's performance in Doctor Sleep because she inhabits that evil. She inhabits that pompousness. Yeah. She has an ego. She feels untouchable. That she wears the hat. The hat doesn't wear her. It never feels like a gimmick to the character.
Exactly.
And it's just such a great acting choice. And also during this scene, I like that Flanagan didn't go for deep fakes. I like that he cast actors that look similar to the actors from The Shining. That's such a smart move. Just casting, like, deep fakes pull me out. So it's nice seeing him cast those actors, but just
true. So true.
And then watching her demise.
We haven't perfected.
And just a great stair throw. Wait, great stair. Okay, great femur stab followed by a throw followed by a stair roll into a guardrail.
Yes. Excellent.
And then great squishy noises when she digs her finger inside his leg and drinks his steam.
Yeah. That's always a eek part to watch. But so well done. Yeah. I just love that whole sequence.
Just rebuilding that. And Darren Lucas did a poll recently, 21st Century Horror, and Dr. Sleep won it all, which makes me happy.
I was so happy. Oh, yeah. So happy about that.
Do you think we've talked about, I mean, maybe, like, for me, Revenge, Green Room, The Host, Dr. Sleep, do you think we sort of covered films that, well, I think 4 of the 6 need more love? I mean, they're loved by cinephiles, but they're not, I don't see them being, I just think they're so good that they need more than just cinephile love, if that makes sense. But I don't know if that'll happen.
Like more mainstream eyes. Like, that's the thing for me. It's like, if you like something and you think, it's worth other people seeing, never stop talking about it, because there might just be one person that hasn't heard about it, and like you got to tell that one person, hey, check it out, this is really good. One's enough.
Every year I pick, last year's Malignant, this year's Barbarian, but every year I think I pick a movie to champion.
Oh gosh, I'm with you on Barbarian. Favorite movie of the year.
So good. So good.
But we're gonna talk about that now. It's on my list.
Do you want to hear about Johnny Numb? Do you want to hear Johnny Numb's list? Yeah, Johnny Numb of the Last Knock podcast and Movies, Films, and Flicks. We do the Feel Good series, so we just released. So get this. We did The Devil All the Time, and our friends at the Last Action Heroes podcast listened to it and went and watched it and were like, "Yo, this movie's really good." But
there we go.
But reviews weren't good for it. But then they watched it and like, oh, this is a good movie. So that makes me happy.
Really?
Yeah.
The review's not good. Yeah. I only had good chats on the Twitter.
Yeah, people.
But yeah, I don't read all the reviews. I have.
Yeah, you got to stop.
If you know me on this podcast, Yeah,
You gotta
I'm
stop.
not good with reviews.
No.
So I've stopped actually reading reviews. I don't do that anymore
Yeah.
because no,
Like
I
people are
don't
talking
care.
about it like
Just
the characters don't have enough personality. Like all the 47 characters aren't three-dimensional in that movie, Zanandi. Can you believe it?
oh, and wow,
Look at Ocean's 11. None of
wow.
them are three-dimensional. No one ever talked about that. But hey. So yeah, Johnny Num put the abstract cabin in the middle of nowhere, the lodge. Cat emerges from the shadows. Hey, the Blackcoat's daughter. The man from
Nice.
the man from Boston, quarantine. Justine's mirror lip sync, raw. Pat's arm yank,
Nice.
green room. Ugh. Colin puts on the mask, possessor. Nate gives the daughter a choice, red, white, and blue. And first responder massacre, Halloween kills. So that's what John Wheeler put. And then Jesse Deal, he also wanted to have when the elevator dings in Cabin of the Woods. That's hilarious. Bloodbath. And to make we're gonna love this because we did an episode on this. Jesse Deal said this makes you want to add the opening credits of Devil to the list.
Yes, JC. That is correct. That is the correct answer.
It's beautiful. It's so good. Upside down.
Oh, yeah.
Dope.
That is one of the most haunting, like, opening, like, I love that. I just love that. It immediately puts it there. It's so good. It's so clever.
I'm gonna blow your mind with my second pick, and you're gonna think it should be number one, but I'm gonna put this at number two, and it's a little crazy, but I'm gonna go with the low-key exorcism, Catherine's low-key exorcism in The Blackcoat's Daughter, 2015, directed by Oz Perkins, who has a cameo in Nope. So
Yeah. That's great.
you and I have talked about this movie. This movie haunts me. It really does haunt me because
Yeah.
I think the themes of alienation, and I think the performances by Kiernan Shipka, who is unbelievable, Lucy Boynton, and Emma
So good.
Roberts, all three of them are so good. So good.
Good.
And just the movie, the patience of it, watching Kiernan Shipka slowly lose her mind because she's been possessed. And I was reading this interview from the Blackcoat's daughter, and I think he's like, what did he put? Oh, he put I wanted to approach the genre from that place with a little bit more of a humanistic, beautiful horror movie. I really started there, and pieces started to fall in. But he put like Blackcoat's Daughter is meant to be a portrait of grief and loss and the space that's left behind when you lose big. Demonic possession, or the suggestion of it, is the shadow that's cast over someone who's lost everything, or the thing that comes to take the place of what you've lost. That kind of metaphor is strong as an abstraction. It would be difficult for me to make a movie or tell a story about grief and loss and have it just be that. I would never want to be talking about what I'm talking about. That becomes a bit plain. One of the cool things about horror is that you're able to code the information you're presenting, and the horror genre is rich with so many archetypes, symbols, weird codes, alphabets, and recognizable imagery that lends itself to that. And so, I guess here, the scene, though, specifically is when Catherine's getting an exorcism. It's very low-key. The pastor is pretty chill about it. The bed does not vibrate. There's no shaking. If this was Sam Raimi's house, the entire building would lift in the air. She lifts in the air and she gets the demon excised from her. And when we see the demon, it's in the shadows. It has two big ears. It's very Donnie Darko, bunny-esque looking, but much larger, almost like a Squishmallow demon. But the main thing though that really, I remember watching this for the first time. And normally when you get a demon taken from your body, you go, whoo, glad that's over. But this is a girl who's so alone, whose parents aren't there. She is just this odd kid who's alone and depressed, and we hear about her parents. We hear what happens, and then she just says, like, don't go. Like, she doesn't want it to go because it was a part of her. It gave her a purpose, and it led her to kill. It led her to do terrible things, but she's so alone that she didn't want it to go. And that's something that I've never seen in a horror film before. That sensitive too, and that well shot. And I watched this movie, and on Google it has more 1-star reviews than 5-star reviews. People really don't like this, and people are like, well, it's a slow burn. What? It's like, what? It's beautifully filmed. It's cold. You're gonna talk about a scene from this too, so I don't want to cover it. But Shipka's performance is unbelievable, and just the fact that she says, "Don't go." for me, I was big into Calvin and Hobbes as a kid. Like, it was just a kid and it talking to his
Yeah,
imaginary friend. There is a sense of
love it.
loneliness there, and then watching her say, "Don't go." Like, this is a girl who is just lonely, and it's unbelievable. So yeah, that's my fourth pick.
No, I mean, we did a whole podcast on this episode where I went off about reviewers and people saying it's a slow burn and whatnot. So yeah, I won't repeat it
Yeah.
again. Like we said, a lot of the stuff, like the coding and the Trojan War stuff too. It's just so good. I mean, it is like I love how understated the exorcism is because that's the thing. Like this thing gave her power, and that's kind of why she doesn't want it to like go. Although it's so new to her and whatever. But I also love it that like when the principal priest guy eventually comes back, she's like, I think that's why the exorcism goes the way it does. Like he's back. So at least she's got him now again.
Yeah.
But at the same time, she met this thing now that again gave her the power. So I just love the whole dynamic of that, the whole movie. I mean, I love it. It's one of my all-time favorite horror movies ever. I just love it. But yeah, I love the ending scene where she like that howl that she gives when she cries. Like it's not a scream, it's a howl. It's like that deep, deep sorrow, like where she realizes, yeah, it's not there, and she's just lost, still lost because yeah, kind of made the wrong choices there.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's definitely there's no comedy to be found here. It's very like it's horror drama really. And it's so good. Yeah.
It's her finest moment. It's Emma Roberts' finest moment. I love her in Scream 4. I love her monologue in Scream 4,
100%.
but that's act. Like that's
No, this movie. Oh,
if somebody
Emma
goes,
was amazing in this movie.
Emma's not a good actor. I'm like, yo, watch this scene.
Watch this.
Out of context, but it's still awesome. And
Yep.
before you get to your second one, I want to read James Foley. He said the jail scene from *Malignant*. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
We'll talk about *Malignant*. That's one of
Oh.
my favorite horror. The chair throw almost made my list, but it's just so new. I wanted to. I think about it a lot, but I just didn't want to include it. Lawn Work from Sinister, the subway confrontation from Watcher, which came out this year, which is actually my favorite moment of Watcher. I think the subway, just the way it's shot, how empty it is. I like the framing of it. The car in Neutral and Orphan, the pool, Strangers Live by Night, of course, Aiden's death in the lodge, the purchase at the Devil's Door, Father's Day holidays, and the dance. We're all going to the World's Fair. I'll finish this up. Reese Dunlap says, let the right one in. Eli's coming to Oscar's apartment without him inviting her, and she starts crying blood. Dylan Yu says the tall man stepping into the bedroom and it follows. Ouch, that's a brutal scene. And Reese Dunlap says literally any scene with Sam in Trick or Treat or Dylan Baker's entire scene.
Yeah. That entire movie is a favorite moment. I love Trick or Treat. Love
so
it.
wonderful stuff too. And hey, so what's your number two?
Okay, well, yeah, again, I'm just going off random. I don't know if this is a good idea or not, but yeah, an all-time favorite, biggest meme when like millennials see this image, they all think about this movie. It is the log truck scene in Final Destination 2 that changed all of our lives. We have never looked the same way at a log truck ever again. I just love this. But now I've got a question for you, Mark. So the kid who shows Kimberly like he's got a car and a truck toy and he's like colliding it as she does that kid know? Or did like death possess him to show Kimberly what was about to happen? Or did that kid know? Because I'm also like, that kid probably lived because Kimberly passed him. And I think Kimberly, like the guy, you know, the guy that she sees when the car is flipped, I think that guy was the last car, besides for the truck. I think that kid lived, is what I'm saying. So did that kid know? Was that kid maybe freaked out? Like, did he remember, oh, I showed the lady the truck thingy? I'm like, that was just weird for me.
Yeah.
Does that kid know? Or did death possess him to do that, to show her the sign?
And then also the drive responsibly thing on the beer truck. The football players yelling, pile up. Like, it's such they're pile up, right? They're like, yeah, smash them, pile up. It's like all the stuff building towards that is just so insane. And I love how heavy, like how light those, like I love in the real world, those logs would just fall. Like they would not bounce. the VFX
Yeah.
people said that, but the bouncing and just the way that cop gets obliterated. Like
Yeah,
he
oh
gets
gosh.
there's
The
nothing
bloodiest
left
log.
but goo on that
Nothing.
man. And
Yeah.
now whenever I see whenever I see a log, have you seen how many viral things there have been about logging trucks? If you just type in Final Destination 2 logging truck review, like article,
Yep.
like,
It's huge because, I mean, yeah, it's one of the best scenes ever.
I mean, it really is. And it's just the way it's built up. They talked about the music. Like, there's not much music going on. I love how the coffee cup is terribly placed, but it does a really good job of establishing the rain. It does a good job of establishing tension and the score. Like David R. Ellis
Yeah.
directed that, the second unit director of Deep Blue Sea, by the way, and Snakes on a Plane, which makes me happy.
Nice.
But
Yes.
you have to have this moment.
Exactly. Like, it is what makes the scene so good. It's all the, like, irresponsible driving stuff happening. Like, yeah, the guy's drinking in his truck. I think Kimberly comments on how irresponsible he is and then only puts her own safety belt on. You've got the dude doing the drugs while driving. You've got the cop whose coffee cup is balancing there next to the laptop, so of course it's going to spill. You've got the water bottles lying around in the car just waiting to get stuck under the brake pedal.
Oh, that's
And
just
then,
as
of course-
scary. That's just as
Right,
scary.
dude, you know how paranoid I am about that. I'm always telling Corey, stop putting your water bottle just like down there. Don't put anything down there. It could go under the brake pedal when you need to use the brake pedal the most. I
Yeah.
mean, like, that movie taught us how to drive better and more responsible. Thank you, Final Destination 2. And then, yeah, of course, just like the irresponsibility of logging transports in general.
Oh man.
Can they have their own roads, please? Like, I think we would all feel much safer.
I get furious when I'm on the road and I see a stack of 5 ladders tied together with one strap.
Dude, I want to scream. Like, that's when I get road rage. When I
Ah.
see, like, that irresponsible stacking of, like, yeah, trucks of, like, buckies and, yeah.
Those are going forward.
yeah.
Those are going to hit people. Oh, God. So am I at number 1?
Yeah, we're at number 1. I can't believe it.
Okay. I just want to talk about a couple of cool moments. The chair throw Malignant, Reckless Alexis from We Summon the Darkness, the staircase scene where we meet Brendan Gleeson's character, the devil opening, the Red Lipstick Demon, Pan's Labyrinth, the Pale Man, Jason X, Final Fight, Session 9, the tape, Signs, the swing away moment, Shallows, the shark dies, the house that October built, the trip through hell, I Saw the Devil, the finale, and how he just realizes revenge is pointless. Woo! 28 weeks later, the opening chase scene. Woo-wee! Robert Carlyle. Trick or Treat. I love the werewolves. It's such a simple gag, but I dig it. The Descent, the crawler's attack.
Yes.
Zach Beckler, he's a horror director. He introduced me to the Descent. He's like, we're going to go watch this movie, Mark, because there's a scene in it that'll make you pee. Because I guess he peed a little bit when the crawlers went in there. And then Let the Right One In, the pool scene. So I had to add the Let the Right One In pool scene. And I'm missing thousands now. I just want everyone to know. But my number 1 is the first movie I ever watched with my wife, and that is Drag Me to Hell, and it is the parking garage fight. Now, the fight between Mrs. Ganoush and Christine Brown, Alison Lohman, and Lorna Raver, I was doing a lot of research about this, and Sam Raimi says that he just wanted to make a movie that people... I just wanted to really connect with the audience and give them kind of an electric experience. Build suspense, take away suspense, build the suspense higher, give them a scare, and put them on a real electric movie experience. That's all I was thinking about the audience. And that's what Sam Raimi had to say about Drag Me to Hell. And I think he succeeded because when Christine gets in her car, a handkerchief floats her way and provides a jump scare. But as she's turning around, Mrs. Ganoush is in the back seat. And that's not even a jump scare because you just had a jump scare. That's mastery of directing, of horror directing right there.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love that.
Because you get the jump from the handkerchief and you turn around and she's there. But in true Sam Raimi, Bruce Campbell, Gonzo fashion, this fight features staples to the eyes. It features dentures exploding. It features Alison Lohman kicking her out of the car, then trying to look down and hitting her head on the window and like kind of going, "Ugh." It features, I beat you, you old bitch. Like, it features her going full Southern and saying that. It features cars crashing. It, like, gumming.
Gypsy curses.
Yeah, Mrs. Ganoush gums Christine.
Yeah.
It is
She eats her face,
Oh man,
sucks on her face. Who knew you could do all of that in a car? I mean, I obviously haven't watched every car fight scene in existence, but I bet no other car fight scene has this much going on.
Yeah.
Like, so much happens in this car. It's amazing. It's like, it's masterful.
Yeah.
And also that fight was real. That fight was real. Like, I watched the behind the scenes about the sequence where Lorna Raver talks about being like from the organic school of acting and like her need to feel the things she does physically and not just pretend to do it during filming. Like, and she apparently took a lot of shots in this movie and she loved it. I love that. Like, go check it out on YouTube. The parking garage fight scene from Drag Me to Hell. You'll get a behind the scenes. Like, it's short. It's like 3 minutes. But it's great where like you can see them going at it and laughing in between takes, and at one point Lorna really takes a stapler to the head.
Oh yes.
I love it.
Lohman is such a great Raimi foil because she just gets the snot beat out of her in this movie.
Yeah.
And with this car scene, they talked about it. They said explains that a puzzle car that split into 6 different pieces was constructed so that the crew could shoot all of the various angles and close-ups required to achieve the blocking Sam Raimi so desired. And it's a wonderful scene. And, Greg Nicotero and KMB did the effects. So, like, all of her, like, she gums Alison Lohman and just the stable to the eye and the extreme close-ups, right?
The stable to the eye.
And just, I love when Lohman goes to look down but hits her head on the window. And I beat you, you old bitch. Like, that's hilarious.
Why would you say that?
It's absolutely beautiful and it's fun. And I had Black Coat's Daughter at number 1. But when I read that he said that all I was thinking about was the audience, I was like, this is my number 1. Because Sam Raimi made this movie to be enjoyed. And it is enjoyed.
And it was,
This, 92% Rotten Tomatoes, but this is a horror classic. This is a gonzo horror comedy classic. I know it's not looked at as such, but I do think between Jeepers Creepers, also Tusk, Barbarian, Justin Long's a pretty good Scream King, isn't he?
He is. I mean, everyone's talking about that right now. Like, he's total Scream King.
Yeah, and he should not go. I mean, he has bad. Like when people like Drag Me to Hell, she gets dragged. He gets brought down into a basement. Tusky gets drugged and brought down into a basement. There's a lot of in Justin Long horror movies. Jeepers Creepers. He goes into the tunnel. So there's a lot of Justin Long being or other characters being sucked into downward places. I just want to put that out there. Just want to let everyone to know. But yeah, that's my number 1. Drag Me to Hell. I adore it. I absolutely adore it. It's perfection. It's lovely. So what's your number 1?
It is. I just want to shout out to the goat screaming. That's amazing. I mean, that moment. Don't talk to me about goats in movies if you don't bring up Drag Me to Hell. That's amazing. Yeah. No, speaking of Justin Long, I mean, I only watched this movie a week and a half ago and it has very, very quickly become one of my favorite horror movies, comedy horror movies. One that packs as much horror as it does comedy. Gosh, the moment is the tape measuring scene in Barbarian. Dude, I laughed. I don't know if it's too soon. I don't think we should go into spoilers yet. I think this is for people that have seen it. They'll understand what we're talking about. But because this is a movie where you want people to absolutely go in blind.
Yeah.
But the moment he sees that, he sees the basement, and he immediately the next scene is looking at property values, how is this going to affect pricing? I started laughing and I did not stop for the next 10 minutes I just kept on laughing. That measuring scene. Let's see how much money I can make from this. We, the audience, have now seen this don't, dude, don't. This idiot. It's one of my all-time favorite moments in a horror movie. I love the timing of it. I love how they the whole putting together of this movie. I read a review somewhere where someone was like, yeah, it was kind of clunky and too much Copy paste and what, and I'm like, excuse me. I think maybe to be fair, I think people who aren't really into horror might struggle with this one because they might not understand what was done with this, what was so brilliantly done with this movie. Yeah, we should give it a while and then actually just do a proper episode of this because I really want to talk about Barbarian, but I only realize now that I don't want to give stuff away for people who haven't seen it. Please go watch Barbarian and then come and listen to our inevitable episode.
Yeah.
Has someone already told you they want to do an episode?
Well, I've done 3 Malignant episodes. I'll do Barbarian with whoever
I want to
wants.
do Barbarian.
I'll talk Barbarian with
Cool.
whatever MFF guest wants to talk Barbarian. I will do an episode with all of them. I've done 3 Malignant episodes. I've done 3 Bloodshot episodes.
There we go.
Care.
Cool. So we can totally. Exactly. We're past caring about that.
Yeah. It's man. What in. This is random, but I want to thank Aaron Newworth because I had a chance to go to a press screening, but my life is kind of crazy. So I messaged him. I'm like, hey, man, should I drive 2 hours to go see this movie? And he goes, yes.
Oh, yes.
He just wrote yes.
Yes.
Like, that was it.
You do that.
And so
100%.
I went and confirmed the screening, went to the press screening. And the scene you're talking about, I can't. The only time I think I've laughed so hard was The Mask in 94 or 5. When someone shushed me because I was laughing. I wasn't even being obnoxious. I was laughing so loud during The Mask because it's so funny for like a 12, 13-year-old that I got shushed. Like I wasn't even being a jerk. I felt so annoyed. I'm like, this is what? But I was laughing.
Leave me alone.
So hard at this movie.
Yeah,
I can't. It's beautiful. Beautiful movie.
The end. Yeah, no, lots of laughter. Lots of also really the first act. I haven't been that scared in a very long time. We watched it on streaming because we had limited theaters here in South Africa showing it. So we watched it on streaming. That's why I only watched it a week and a half ago. And I was like, that first act, I wasn't sure I was going to be able to get through it. That's how creeped out I was. But then when the laughter started, it was just, I had to pause. Because I was laughing so hard, I was missing stuff. I had to pause. It's just great.
I didn't sleep that night. I probably was up for 3-4 hours, scared. That movie got in my brain. It really did.
Yeah, it'll do that.
I could not sleep.
100%.
I 100% couldn't sleep. I don't care about acting tough. I was but hey, we did it. We did the list. This was fun.
We did it.
It was pain free.
I just want to say sorry to all the moments that I left out. I still love all of you. So sorry.
There's thousands of them.
Movie moments.
Yeah. My apologies.
We love horror.
28 Days Later.
Yeah.
Every scene from 28 Days Later.
Stop. No, we're not going to do this.
All right.
Not going to kill ourselves like this.
Hey, where can people find you, Zenandi? Right behind you. No, I'm joking.
Yes, right behind you. That is a very interesting question, Mark, because right now Twitter is kind of imploding. So who knows where we'll be by the time this comes out. But yeah, look for me, Zenandi Boertes. I mean, there are not a lot of us Zenandi Boertes out there writing. So, but yeah, I'm on Twitter. You can check me there. I still have a Facebook page, sort of, that I'm not very good with, but yeah. Just search for my name. Google my name. Google will still be there.
yeah, unless that's bot. But no, I also listen to our Dr. Sleep, Devil.
Yes.
We've talked about a bunch of these movies on the podcast here, so just
Blackcoat's Daughter.
Blackcoat's Daughter.
We Summon the Darkness.
Oh yeah, We Summon the Darkness.
Is made of some of our favorite moments.
Reckless Alexis.
Yeah.
Maddie Hassan's a beast.
Man.
Between We Summon the Darkness and Malignant, she's 2 completely different characters. I think she's awesome. She's great. But hey,
awesome.
We did it. This was really fun actually. I had a great time doing this. So thank you for joining me.
Thanks, Mark.
All right. So for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, for Zenandi Boertes, this is Movies for the Flicks. We'll see you next week.